Interesting text message during the break on the Subaru of New England text line with regard to the reporting on Bill Belichick still being bothered by the fact that Mac Jones was seeking advice outside of the organization last season. And 978 text says, this is what people mean when they say the game has passed Bill by. He cannot relate to today's player. Is this in your mind, is that a generational thing?
No, I don't think it's generational at all. I think it's a guy that was embarrassed that his quarterback didn't buy in to the two incompetent people that were placed in charge of coaching the offense, and that Mac not going along with the program was not an outcome Bill had foreseen, considering Mac's tutelage with Nick Saban at Alabama, and that going outside of the building to bring attention to Bill's biggest offseason blunder was something that Bill's ego couldn't handle. So instead of saying, I was wrong, this was a mistake, let's talk about it, Bill isn't even allowing himself to understand the situation, rather just judging the behavior of his second-year quarterback who bore the brunt of the decision. Mac got killed nationwide last year because he didn't perform, and he didn't perform in part because of the people Bill put in charge of coaching him.
I don't view what Mac Jones did as airing dirty laundry. Like, it's one of the things that
come on, Greg.
What? I don't.
Seriously?
I think he was looking for help. He was in. Curtis is right. He was in a desperate situation. Like,
but even if you are, you still don't go to somebody else.
Who does Bill Belichick meet with all the time? He goes outside the business, outside the family all the time. He talks to Brian Kelly, Nick Saban. I'm sure he and Andy Reid talk. He's friends with a lot of coaches around the NFL.
But the way that the report made it seem was not that Mac Jones was going to Nick Saban and talking to a former coach. It seemed like he was going elsewhere in the league.
Right.
That's the difference here.
My guess is that at some point, and it's just a guess, that he probably talked to Josh McDaniels.
That'd be like Bill Belichick going to talk to other quarterbacks. Hey, Jimmy, Tom.
He told the Big Show years ago he texted Jimmy Garoppolo after each game.
Yeah, good luck. Hey, you ain't going to believe it. I got this Scribeens quarterback here who can't buy it, can't figure out the offense. It's just a bad look. Like the whole players go, like a player reaching out to another NFL coach to gripe about what's going on.
He wasn't necessarily griping. See, that's the thing, is that it is perceived by people who don't like Mac Jones as we're back to the whiny,
but that's what the reports were.
Thing.
That's what the reports were.
It's not. If you had an issue, let's say that you had an issue, you had a question about radio.
Right.
Why we're doing something.
Right.
And you can't go to, Ken Laird is your boss.
Right.
Ken he's overwhelmed and busy with, lots of other things that are going on. And you decide, all right, I don't want to bother Ken with this.
So let me go to the bosses at the sports hub.
Let me go to my immediate superior, whoever that person is. In this case, it was Matt Patricia. And Matt Patricia has absolutely no idea what he's talking about.
Right.
So he is fumbling around trying to find some sort of a fix for the situation when it came to the offense.
Stop it, Greg.
Do you think Wiggy, do you think Mac Jones ever does this if he has a competent coach?
It doesn't matter even if he has a competent coach.
We already know he didn't do it because he didn't do it his rookie season.
Let me ask you guys a question. How did Bill Belichick find out about this? To me, the way he found out about it was whoever Mac Jones went to called up Bill and said, your quarterback is asking around, asking for help, making your organization look bad.
Right.
If this wasn't a big deal, Bill would have never found out.
Or he found out about it because Mac in the locker room was talking to Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne saying, hey, I know Patricia said he had no idea what we do if a corner blitzes off the weak side, but I talked to Josh and you guys can run this route.
So then that would mean that Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne went to Bill and go, Bill, guess who Mac's talking to?
Okay. I guarantee you the locker room in Gillette is mic'd up. I guarantee that.
It just doesn't.
Where would you guess the hidden microphones are?
Probably in Bears' office.
Well, I would say that they'd have to be somewhere around the trash cans. Mm-hmm. That's what guys usually like to congregate in the locker room. But it just makes no sense that the reports were he was going to somebody else in the league, and we all believe it might have been Josh McDaniels. So let's say a head coach of another, NFL team, and he was going there not to ask questions like, "Hey, what should we have for dinner?" He was going there to basically complain about what was happening in New England.
Okay,
so if I went to Ken Laird and I had issues and then complained that other sports stations would be
This
stupid.
is what you and Scheim and others, Courtney even, who can't stand Mac Jones, do, is that you create something out of thin air. There's not a single report that says he was whining about what was going on here or he was airing dirty laundry.
Why is he reaching out to another organization for help?
Because he has a boob of a coach who doesn't know anything about running the offense
That
here
doesn't
in the
mean you
form of Matt
contact
Patricia.
another team.
Okay, if we could stipulate that each of these to varying degrees were against protocol, okay? But which act was far more damning? The decision by Bill Belichick to hire his two buddies while being paid by other organizations to coach a side of the ball they never had in a very incompetent way, or a second-year quarterback after experiencing the idiocy of the coaches seeking answers elsewhere. Which was worse?
The second-year quarterback seeking answers. Okay. So Curtis,
100%, he's right.
So no, wait a second. So if Ken doesn't know it, or Mike Thomas hired Ken, and I feel like Ken's an idiot, you would be cool.
I would never say that.
No. But we're hypotheticals here.
Okay.
You would be cool with Courtney, who has been here 2 years, going to people at Brand X and the bosses over there to complain about, well, Ken doesn't know what he's doing.
You're using the complain word again.
Oh, okay, so to go to Brand X and ask questions about anything.
Or to even
If
gossip.
you can't get an answer where you're working, yes.
You got no issues with that.
He can't get an answer from Matt Patricia.
You guys
Stop
are
it.
Then
guys
go
are-
to Bill Belichick.
You guys are such frauds.
Matt Patricia was still trying to figure out week 10 how to install
Stop
more than
it.
10 plays.
If Courtney did that,
I'd be fired.
exactly.
I'd be
tomorrow.
considered a mole. I'd be considered a mole.
Right,
That
stop
I'm
it.
going and airing dirty laundry. Are you kidding me?
I text Zoe occasionally. Does that mean I'm
That
Mac
is so
Jones?
different,
Stop
Curtis.
it.
Come
on, Curtis. Do you text Cadillac, who's the program director over there,
No,
and
but
complain
I
about
had
what Ken ain't doing?
I had a very nice conversation with Jim Louth, who's a big wig there.
Do you text Mary Menor and complain about?
I've never met her, but she seems lovely.
Yeah, you're
Stop
allowed
it.
to have conversations with other
Stop
people, but
it.
when you're seeking help about something
Right.
outside the organization,
Please.
that is not okay.
I would look at you.
Unbelievable.
I
I'm
would
living in
look-
a bizarro world.
I remember when
I'm in
I-
bizarre world because
when-
I would look at you as like a spy or a snake or a traitor.
Wiggy, here's a 617 text on the Subaru of New England text line that says Bill Belichick may very well have cost Mac Jones generational wealth last year.
I believe
To
it.
blame Mac for asking for outside help in the situation to fix the situation is ridiculous.
No, it isn't, because I would ask that person, you don't go to another company to complain about what your company is not doing for you, even if the person that is in charge put an idiot there. You still don't do that.
Are you guys aware of the cause and effect? So what was the cause here? The cause was the hiring of two people who were ill-prepared at best.
We agree
to coach
on that.
The offense.
Then go talk to your head coach
Okay,
about
right.
it.
If that never happens, you don't have the second part
Right,
of this.
but we're already there at this point, Curtis.
But that's what I'm saying. Bill Belichick created the
right,
mess.
but we're there. So we're there. Where the conversation is: was it right for Mac Jones to go to another organization and talk, complain, whatever you guys want to believe now? Because
I talk to Jeff Rickard often. He gives me a lot of advice, and he's very helpful. And he's no longer in the company.
yeah.
And I remember when I brought this up, it was
your nose just grew like
Right,
that.
Exactly.
I would never fib.
Ain't nobody buying this.
And also, please don't bother the Sports Hub people. They are too busy trying to hire my best guests away from me. Right under my nose. Thank God for loyalty.
Oh, what were you upset for?
Thank God there's some people who have loyalty and are not.
Mac Jones doesn't have that.
They better not take Bradfo. I will quit.
You shouldn't be upset, right? Maybe they're just trying to get answers that tie my.
Are we quiet? Whoa. Hey, quiet. I didn't say anybody.
Oh, okay.
Here's Vinny. Hello, Vinny.
Hey, second-year quarterback, definitely has a lot of potential. Worried about his future. All of a sudden, he sees things that doesn't make sense. He can't go outside the organization because the NFL is such a small world that you've got to ask someone who has experience, who's going to give you a quality answer and perspective. If you're, if you should be worried. I mean, if they put Wiggy on 10-2 on Wednesday nights, and Wiggy starts saying, "Hey, do you think this is the best interest of my, talent to put me in this position?" I wouldn't blame him at all. And that's basically the same exact thing that happened to Mac Jones.
Well, he should tell his agent that he wants to be traded.
No,
Why is that the only?
that,
Why is that the only solution? He was in an unwinnable situation.
Or how about be an adult and go talk to your boss?
You mean Bill?
Yes.
That's
Deal
what
with
I would
it.
do.
Isn't that
Deal
what
with it
millennials are
in-house.
supposed to do?
That's what you're supposed to do. You talk about all the time about how
to
we're
the
always millennials and we don't actually do anything. We have no responsibility. How about just sack up and be a man and go talk to your boss?
That's
What
it.
do you think Matt Patricia would have done if he found out that Mac Jones was going to Bill Belichick and saying, "Hey, it's a little weird.
What's Patricia
but
going to
this
do that's
guy
any
who's
worse?"
It's a little odd, but this guy who's the offensive coordinator doesn't seem to understand the offense that you've been running here for 20 years. Maybe I'll reach out and ask somebody who knows it better than anybody else, Josh McDaniels."
And Josh
Who's
McDaniels,
not with this organization.
Just to clarify the point, do you think there was anything Mac offered Josh McDaniels that Josh didn't already have institutional knowledge of? In other words, was he sharing secrets with an enemy that didn't already know these secrets?
No, it's
so
not
then
about.
what's the downside?
It's not about sharing secrets. It's about you. Rather, like Chime says, 100% right. If you don't like what the offensive coordinator's doing or your position coach, you go see the head coach.
I'm sure Bill Belichick has a weekly meeting where he hears critique from the players, and he sits back and you know what, Hunter? Good point. We're going to institute that.
But
Definitely.
no, but you should get it. You don't go to another coach and say, "Hey, I'm having issues." Why not just go talk to your head coach?
They're being fraudulent,
Of
Wiggy.
course
When I
they
did
are.
this as my lead, when we first had that, I'm blanking on who the two guys were. I was trying to find it on Twitter right now, who brought up this report.
Right.
I remember everybody on the show was like, "Whoa, Mac went to other people."
Right.
Now, Greg, I understand what you're saying. If you don't like Mac, you're going to jump on one side. But if you like Mac, you're going to defend this till you die. And that's fine. We're never going to see eye to eye on this. I think if you brought it down to a normal corporate level, every single person, their boss, would be wiping their hands clean of their employee who would be doing this.
If you asked any NFL analyst, insider, expert, this situation here, everybody would be like, "That is so wrong of Mac Jones. Just go talk to your head coach." No one would be like, "Oh, that's cool." No one would be on Curtis's and Greg. They'd be the only two on this hill dying.
Here is Tim from Natick. Hello, Tim.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's up?
How do we know that Mac Jones didn't go to Belichick first and say, "Hey, we got to do something. This isn't working." And Belichick, being his typical self, just said, "Just deal with it.
Figure it out.
We're doing what we can. Figure it out." I mean, in that case, I'm okay with Mac asking for outside advice. If he didn't go to Belichick first, I have a problem with it. But I definitely can see Belichick just telling him, "Hey, just deal with it. This is what we're doing," and not giving an explanation or not trying to help him out.
Tim,
It's
you know
just-
why? You know why, Tim? Because just like I think it was Tommy Curran reported it, Bill was upset. So if you know, it's like this is my wife. She says this all the time, and it's spot on. Make it make sense. Like if you know that Bill's going to be upset with it, make it make sense. Don't go out and
Make
talk.
it make sense. Why did he keep these two in
It-
charge of
but
the
it-
offense
but
all
we-
season?
listen,
No,
we-
make that make sense.
We're already here, though. Listen.
Well, we weren't. When Mac went outside the building, it was still going on.
We're already at that point. So now if you're Mac Jones, you got to say, is it really worth me if I did go to Bill and Bill goes, "Well, you're going to have to figure it out," which I don't believe he did. Is it worth Mac Jones going, should I pick up the phone and call another coach in the NFL, and this potentially could get back to Bill? Is this a good thing?
Well, and I think I reacted, Courtney, and you're right, when you first brought up this story, was the shock and the, I guess, outrage or whatever was, holy crap, their relationship has devolved to this point.
Also, holy crap, how bad are things when you can't get answers from, you want to be better. Mm-hmm. You're a guy who is, you're Mac Jones, and you want the football team to be better, and you can't get answers internally from your coaches.
But
You
do
don't
you
think
believe
Belichick
that?
wants the football team to be better?
Do you believe Mac went to
Who
Bill?
made the decision to put those two in charge? Bill
Yeah,
Belichick.
mistake. He recognizes that.
Okay,
He
so
made
then
changes.
He
you're gonna-
recognizes that. Wait. When has he admitted that he made a mistake?
He
Well,
made
'cause he-
changes.
yeah,
they're
he
not.
changed.
They're not in those
I must
positions
have missed
anymore.
the press
The owner made changes. He
Oh,
didn't
so now
make
Belichick
changes.
doesn't have power anymore.
Do you think the owner made the change and said we're making a change when it comes to Bill O'Brien? He told you about as much.
I think if Bill Belichick didn't want to make that move, he wouldn't have made that move.
So Bill Belichick supported the press release that said they were interviewing offensive coordinator candidates and Gerard Mayo was in negotiations to remain with the team. You think that was Bill Belichick?
Yes, he acquiesced.
When the reason this is
100%.
By the
I don't
way-
understand how we're thinking that all of a sudden Bill Belichick doesn't have power. If
reason
Bill
that-
Belichick didn't have power, he would no longer be a coach here.
The reason this is back as a topic is because Bill Belichick apparently is still bothered by it.
Yes,
which
rightfully so.
Is not rightfully so. And the way Tom E. Curran spoke about it on the afternoon show was that it is ironic because Mac is trying to get better and he's wondering, are we supposed to be doing it this way? And he's asking around the football world about it. He is forced into asking, are we supposed to be doing it this way? And then Tommy Curran said that effort to improve was showing up the Matt Patricia, Joe Judge contingent that Bill put in charge.
Right.
And that's why Bill is still pissed about it.
Of course it is.
Not because it's disloyal, because
That's
because it showed that the emperor had no clothes on.
So guess what? Part of showing
I love that analogy.
Pot-
One of the great ones.
It really is.
part of showing somebody up means you're being disloyal to them. Because if you were loyal, you would have been like, all right, I know this is not right. I know that he hired these two morons. They have no idea what they're doing. But you know what? My loyalty lies with Bill. I'm going to take this one on the chin. I'm going to go talk to Bill and try to figure out, hey, what can we do here? Or I'm going to ride it out until the wheels fall
And didn't
off.
we all think that Bill did the Matt Patricia, Joe Judge thing just for the year because he already had a plan to get Billy O'Brien? Wasn't that the
Right,
so
that was
now
the
we're
plan.
saying that he didn't have any of the power and Kraft made the decision to go with Billy
on.
O'Brien?